Hey, it's Dan Morales. This is Homebuyer Radio, episode number 160. 160. Go figure. Hard to believe I've done 160 episodes of this podcast. I don't even know what I've talked about throughout all of these. I feel like, I've told stories. We've done series on different things, and it's just been a heck of a ride over the last several years. And this continues to be a labor of love. So my hope is that as you listen to this podcast, that you are learning something and that it is helping you ideally to kind of navigate through this mortgage process. The name of the podcast is probably a little off, if you will. Homebuyer Radio, we should spend a little more time probably talking about the process of actually, buying a house as far as from the real estate perspective. And other than a few good local realtors that have been gracious enough to come in and share some of their information or their, how they guide clients through the process, I got to be honest, it can be hard to find agents who are willing to kind of come onto the podcast and share some of the things that they run into. We're going to try to reach out to a couple of them that we've made some connections with around the country and get some of their information and see if we can't maybe get them on the podcast and share a little more information that ideally helps to continue to grow that knowledge base for you as you're out there looking at properties and good stuff like that. So, all right, well, let's talk about this week, right? This week, where are we going and what are we going to talk about? I like to tell stories as part of the podcast, and usually the stories I talk about are ones where, somebody started this process and, things go sideways. And then what happens is, they end up finding themselves in a position where, either a deal, doesn't come together or they're scrambling to find a new lender to get it done. And, we deal with that on, really almost a daily basis, where I have conversations with people where, they end up getting turned down and they should have never got that far into the process because they should have been turned down a lot faster. There are other conversations where we have with people where, we're able to help get them across the finish line because the loan was structured incorrectly and the lender that they worked with originally should have known that, but didn't have enough knowledge or experience to be able to, know where they were going to get tripped up as part of the process. So, we do our best to try to, help folks whenever we can and get them across the finish line. But it can definitely be interesting. Now one of the things I get asked a lot from people is, what are interest rates? Where are rates going? And, what do you see? Should I lock in or should I wait to lock in, or, what should I be looking to do when it comes to interest rates and stuff like that? Reality of life is nobody can predict interest rates, okay? I couldn't tell you if rates are going to go higher, they're going to go lower. The one thing I can tell you is they are going to change. And they may change for you, they may change against you. Market pricing can fluctuate. I always like to tell folks that, interest rates can be a lot like gas prices. Gas prices can change from day to day. Sometimes they can change throughout the day, depending on how volatile the market is. But you can have changes from day to day. They can change throughout the day. You can have different prices from one gas station to another. And so when I get clients who, want to shop around for a mortgage, right? A lot of times, even the government encourages you to shop around for a mortgage. Well, hey, good luck with that, okay? And the reason why I say that is because, maybe you got a price from lender A yesterday, and that price was X, and that was based on maybe different assumptions and the fact that they're taking some of your information that you've given them, and they're going to assume that those things are actually correct, and they're going to give you a price based on that period of time. Okay, maybe you get a price from lender B later in that day, and that price is better or worse than lender A. Well, there's multiple reasons it could be better or worse. One could be that, maybe they're just charging less, or maybe they're just charging more. The other could be that the market price has shifted, meaning that, the price that lender A had is different from lender B just because the market had shifted from the point where you started, let's say, in the morning with lender A, and by the time you got to lender B, market pricing either got better or worse, and that pricing was being passed on to you, and now you are comparing apples to oranges. And maybe you go into the next day, and now you get lender C and D, and you have 4 different rates and 4 different terms and 4 different prices, and the thing is you're comparing apples to oranges on all of them, right? Because unless you got everybody's price and everybody used the exact same criteria in pricing your loan at the exact same moment in time, you truthfully cannot do an apple-to-apple comparison. With the volatility that is out there in the interest rate market, You just cannot, shop. Okay. People try, but it's very hard because you're always going to be comparing apples to oranges, and you're never going to really have a straight up comparison, if you will. Now, what I suggest to folks is, you want to, rate is just one part of the equation of a solid mortgage experience or mortgage transaction. Okay. The knowledge or expertise of your lender is huge. Okay. Because you could have somebody who says, oh, hey, I'm going to go with this person because their interest rate's cheaper, but maybe your loan was the wrong program. Maybe it was structured the wrong way for what your long-term goals were. So you really need to vet the experience and the knowledge of the lender you're working with. A lot of times people think, well, I'm just going to go to my bank. That's where I bank at. Whoever they have there, is good enough. You can do that. What happens when that person doesn't know what they're doing and your loan was structured the wrong way, then you just paid a premium, right? So how do you vet a loan officer? Look at that loan officer's individual reviews, not their company, their individual reviews. If they don't have them, there's a reason why, okay? If they have them, are they all from one short period of time, and are they all from people who are affiliated with that person, meaning that they're a close group of real estate agents that work with that lender, or they're that lender's family or friends? We have a local competitor. If we read their Google reviews, of their 20 or 30 Google reviews, 25 of them are probably people who are very closely related to them in some capacity. And the 5 that appear to be legitimate were 5 reviews that were just really bad. And those, in all honesty, were probably the honest reviews of that company's performance. So look at that individual's ratings or reviews. In our case, we have hundreds of them, and they're mine. They're not North Point Bank's. They're mine. North Point Bank has thousands of them, and they're good as well too. But in our case, mine, belong to me, to Dan Morales. They don't belong to somebody else. We didn't pay for them, and you'll see that they stretch over a period of years, which is really what you want to see. You don't want to see like all of a sudden there's a bunch of reviews and then there's none, right? If you see a bunch of them in a short period of time, then that usually is, symptomatic of, or I should say it is, that lender cherry picking who they asked to write reviews in one short period of time. Then you want to question why there aren't more recent ones that are out there that would support a regular and consistent, history of performance. Now, you do see that there are, don't be surprised if you do see an occasional review that is, not 5 stars or something like that. As well of a job that my team does and that we do for our clients, not everybody's going to like us. Not everybody's going to appreciate everything we do for them, or maybe they were frustrated because of something that they did along the process. I had a lady one time write a bad review because I wouldn't do business with her. And I wouldn't do business with her because the expectations she had were such that we couldn't do what she wanted to do. We couldn't accommodate what she wanted to do, and it just was, a situation where we weren't going to win. And I suggested to her that, maybe you can find somebody who can do that would be better suited for you. But, I don't have an option that's going to be viable for what you're looking to do. She got ticked off at me and went and wrote a bad review. And in all honesty, I was kind of glad she did, because we had so many good reviews that I didn't want people to think that our reviews were fake. A bad review, it is what it is. But that's one of those things where, I take pride in what we do. So look at somebody's reviews, look up their NMLS number. There's a consumer facing portal for the NMLS numbers. Each lender has an NMLS number. What you want to do is you want to search their NMLS number, and then you want to look at their work history. Okay. Their work history is going to show you where they worked, how long they worked, and so on. Now, a lot of times when you look at some of these big national lenders, that are big on the internet, and they run these big call centers, when you look up one of their lenders' NMLS numbers, you may be surprised to find out that a year ago they were a server at Applebee's, and now all of a sudden they're your mortgage loan officer, and you're going to place your trust in this person who likely lacks the knowledge and experience to push you through this process with the best outcome, right? So do some homework, do some vetting. In my mind, somebody with probably less than 5 to actually I would say less than 10 years experience in the mortgage business is going to be a problem. It's not to say that they don't know what they're doing or they don't have experience. The problem is that most of them just haven't had enough experience over enough period of time to really know all the different ways or options that you can put a loan together. I sit in some different Facebook groups for loan officers, and I can tell you there are people with 15 to 20 years experience that ask questions that they should know the answer to. So it's really important you work with somebody who knows what they're doing. Ask questions. Somebody who has the heart of an educator is going to answer those questions and try to help you understand how all those pieces come together. If the lender can't give you an answer, or they're stumbling through the answers, or they get irritated or angry for you asking so many questions, then you may want to consider a different choice, right? Because there's usually a reason why. That reason why is usually that they don't know what they're doing. So, hey, I'm Dan Morales, America's Mortgage Man. My MLS number is 709-729. Phone number is 616-931-4629. You can find me online at danmorales.com. That's DANMORALEZ.com. Hey, if you enjoy the podcast, do me a favor, write us a 5-star review on iTunes. That means the world to us, and share it, right? Share the podcast with others. We it's a labor of love, and if nobody's going to listen, I don't want to do it, right? But I can tell you that there are thousands of you that listen, because I get emails from many of you, and many of you reach out, and I can track the downloads and so on. So, I know we're making an impact and we're helping folks, and that's, I guess, the legacy of what we're hoping to do here. If you're in the market to buy a house, we'd love to help you out. Feel free to reach out to us. Again, Dan Morales, America's Mortgage Man, 616-931-4629, danmorales.com. And, of course, North Point Bank is an equal housing lender. Have a great day.